everyone. I'm Amy,
I'm Sarah.
and together.
We are unscripted.
All right, so for today's episode, we are calling it The Devil You Know. We're going to be talking about the ideologies of the devil and its existence and certain theories behind it. Feeding into that, different stories. I've got one in specific from a priest. I thought that one was really cool. And then we're going to go into demon face syndrome, which there's not a whole lot about it, but from what I've seen, I want more. I want to know more about it. So whatever there is
I
to
certainly
know,
don't, but okay.
and that was so shocking to me, but I'll tell you what I know because there's not a whole lot out there. And then from there, we'll just kind of go into, it's going to be a fun episode, I think. So
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Hey, Amy, do you
Yeah.
actually think the devil and demons walk among us today, in today's time?
I want to say yeah. If you would have asked me that like 5 years ago, I probably would have said, nah. It was more like, myth. But now I feel like for sure there's too much
Agreed.
going
Too
on.
much coincidental, too many coincidental incidences that can come, out to being like almost demonic, and I don't like it. But anyway, I just thought I would throw it out there. I was just curious.
Yeah. So obviously the existence of the devil, it's like an age-old question. There's, hardcore Christians and Catholics, they believe in that. And then there's people who are more agnostic and they're like, nah. And there's, the atheists and they don't believe in anything, it's so, there's a fine line. It's just preference. There's no right or wrong answer, but I just thought it would be interesting to delve into some of the more popularized theories out there and share our opinions. So what do you believe? Do you believe that the devil exists?
Me? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't believe the devil exists, but that is because I am a pagan, a practicing pagan. We don't believe in the devil nor one true God. We believe in worshiping nature, and we all have to and use, and they assist us in our magic. So we can't say we all don't, but I personally and a bunch of others that, I talk with do not believe in the existence of the devil, Satan, or the existence of one true God. Because honestly, we think, we have nature. Nature is our sanctuary. Nature is our church and it's our God, basically. Right. So nope, I do not believe it. Do I believe demons exist? Oh yes. And some of us, which is still do worship demons, like Lucifer, who, according to the Christians, was, God's son. So he's a demon who was fallen, cast into, the depths because of his rebellious nature. So, nope, not me.
Well, I'm going to write that down because I'm going to come back and I'm going to ask you that question later.
Okay.
So, hang on. Whoops, can't write. Figures. Okay. So, with the devil and the existence. So, there's a few different things. Like, okay, I'm wearing my Exorcist hoodie here. And I wasn't doing that actually intentionally. It's just something that I kind of threw on, but it made me think. So, in the movie, even though it's based, like we talked about, on a true story, but they, Hollywoodized it. So they threw in a bunch of stuff that actually didn't happen. But one of the fictitious portions of the movie was when Reagan declares, "I am the devil" himself. And I've always heard that the devil doesn't want to be known. And there's a few different reasons possibly why, but the main one that I heard why is because if people believe that the devil exists, then they're going to believe that God exists. And the devil doesn't want people to believe in God. The devil wants to push people away from God. And so, I don't know. I thought that was interesting that, it's displayed in different ways, throughout different demonic movies. But
yeah, I don't think it was actually the devil inside of her. I think it was just something that, was spoken by a different type of entity claiming to be the devil, because, again, in the Christian Bible, they really didn't want to acknowledge the existence of Satan or God because Satan supposedly is the person or the entity who's responsible for free will, having people have the choice to do things, influencing people to do things. So yeah, I think that was probably another demon just being a jerk.
I don't remember. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I don't remember the actual case of The Exorcist, like with Roland Doe. Well, that was that his name, or was that what they called him?
That he was named Rowan Doe. That wasn't his actual name.
That's right. It was
His
something
name
different.
was like Ronald or
Yeah, yeah.
Richard.
Ronald. It was
But
Ronald.
no, he didn't claim to be the devil. He
Okay.
never claimed to be the devil. Yeah, no, he just claimed that he had voices in his head.
Yeah, that's
So,
what.
and the demonic stuff going around him was caused by demons.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. So going into that, there was a really cool video that I saw on YouTube, which I'm going to link it in the description. Um, there was so this guy, he was interviewing a reverend named Daniel Rehill, and I'd never seen it up until like 2 weeks ago, which I usually stay on top of this kind of stuff. I love the spooky, demonic encounters, that sort of thing. It's like my jam. Don't know why. Kind of weird. But
That's our life.
I guess, I don't know. But so this reverend, he was talking about how he claims that he met the devil twice. And if you watch the video, um, he describes the man as like this beautiful, handsome man, which, you always hear the devil is always the best dressed, man in the room, the most handsome, most beautiful woman, whatever. And so, I mean, it kind of seemed kind of hokey, but the way he tells it, like you can tell, like he legit, believes everything that was happening, was happening. Like, I'm not going to spoil it, but essentially he met this guy who was trying to be tempting. This guy was trying to not drink. And he was like, come on, let's have that drink. And then he met the guy again. And when he met the guy again, he recognized him, of course. And he's like, what are you doing here? I thought you were going to become a priest. He's like, this is my territory. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that sounds so creepy.
It was creepy the way he told it. So again, I've got the link in the description, but really, really cool.
That'll be interesting to watch again. I found that was really interesting too. So I think you all you guys will like watch that and be like, ooh, that's quite strange.
Yeah, there was like a 2-minute video where he just talks about the experience, and there's like a longer, like I guess the full video is like 9 minutes. I can't find the 2-minute one now, even though it should be in my history, but you know how YouTube does it. It's fine. But so anyway, that had me thinking about a few things. It kind of got the ball rolling. So people, who they claimed they see the devil, and like they don't, say, oh, I saw this guy with horns and a staff. They say this is the most handsome guy that they've ever seen or whatever. So then there's something going around which you hadn't heard of, apparently, called demon face syndrome. It made the news.
I had no idea what the heck that was. When you told me that, I was like, what?
What? I was like, what do you mean, what? But it made the news. Like, I didn't see it on the news, but like on YouTube or whatever, you can find it on the news, like a channel. So demon face syndrome, apparently it's something that's happening enough to where obviously it's got a name. People, I don't know where it started, when it started, but it's becoming popular now to where I guess the main thing is people, they'll see somebody's face and they don't look human. Like the main description is they've got pointy ears, I guess like an elf or something, or a demon, duh. And they'll have completely black eyes, like no whites, nothing,
Wow. I actually have the definition of demon face syndrome.
Yeah, please read it because I don't have it.
It is called prosopometamorphosia. Proso PROSOPOMETAMORPHOPSIA. Prosopometamorphosia. I don't know. But the definition is also known as demon face syndrome, is a visual disorder characterized by altered perception of faces. So, in the perception of a person with the disorder, facial features are distorted And let me pull up the rest of this. They're distorted in a variety of ways, including drooping, swelling, discoloration, and shifts of position, which would make sense. They start to see a little bit of horns, or the face gets elongated, the lip, the drooping nose, things like that. So that would make sense.
Yeah, and you know what?
But there's actually a definition.
I've got a picture too, like one of the main pictures, like a artist rendition of how it's supposed to look or whatever. I'll post that up here. Yeah. But lost my train of thought. So demon face syndrome, okay, when did it come out? Because I just heard about it last year, but when is that? Has that been a thing for a minute?
Let's find out.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
I'm a Google girl, so that's why I'm pulling up Google.
I would use my phone, but it would probably malfunction.
It's okay, right? We're talking about demons and things. So it looks like it was created. The first known person who said it was in 2020. It was Victor Shara. Woke up one day in November 2020 to a terrifying reality. People's faces began to appear stretched out and demonic. So 2020.
You know what that makes me think of, though? I mean, as much as I want to believe this is like a legit thing, which I'll get into that in the next little segment here, but it makes me think of like mass delusion, mass paranoia. Why is my light messing up?
2020 was also COVID. That's when COVID started.
Everything messed up in 2020. 2020 was a hell of a year. But it makes me wonder still, like, is it something that like one person, started and then everyone else started kind of catching on? Like, is it a trend? This Victor, like, did he start a trend? It's because people are like, oh, hey, that's really scary. Oh, I saw it too. Or, you know what I mean? I wonder if
it could be
mass. Because, I mean, in today's day and age, everything's a trend. Even mental health, mental illness can be a trend. So,
right.
I mean, I'd like to believe in it, but I'll look into that. But so anyway, there's like a lot of other stories. Like my light is being really weird. It keeps fluctuating. So hopefully you can still see me okay. Is it still okay? I don't know what it's doing.
Yeah,
but anyway, if it goes out, whatever. It'll just be dark. So the stories that you can find either in Reddit or in YouTube comments, I've seen a lot where they talk about people like they've been out in different retail settings. Usually it's retail because, I mean, let's face it, if we go out, we're usually going to the store or whatever. But there's a lot of them in Walmart, which what weird stuff doesn't happen in a Walmart, right? There's Kroger. Yeah, Walmart's a nightmare in its own, but
along with women in thongs. Sorry.
That's a nice image. Thank you for that.
Women in thongs and dressed like, they're going clubbing, going to Walmart.
I see the pajamas and the rollers, but that's cool too. I'm sure there's YouTube videos about that. But even Target, and I haven't heard about like gas stations or anything, but there's been a lot of people who they all say the same thing. I haven't heard the ear thing that the one guy that I've got linked in the description he talked about. Oh yeah, I didn't even tell you about that. I'll tell you about that in a second. But most of these people, they just see somebody with like completely blacked out eyes, and it'll be somebody that's either staring at them from like down the aisle, or maybe somebody will ask them a question like, hey, do you know where this is or something? And it's like there's all kinds of different encounters, and these people are always like, they don't know how to react. There's people who said that before that it was, a Halloween costume. Some of these people, they've seen it on Halloween, so natural to think that. But then the other places, or the other people in these places, like they didn't see this on Halloween. So they're like, why would these people be wearing these contacts, And a lot of them, they'll be like elderly. They're definitely not going to be wearing these blackout contacts. So I don't know. There's one story that I heard where there was this couple and they were in like a Walmart, checkout lane or whatever, man checkout lane, not self checkout. And there was like an elderly couple ahead of them, and the woman had like pitch black eyes, and they like they saw it and they freaked out and they went to another line. and neither of them said to each other like what they saw, but later on they both said,
Mhm.
the husband said, "Hey, I saw that lady's eyes," and she's like, "Oh my gosh,
Right.
me too." And so they're like, "Okay, this isn't like a weird delusion. Like we both saw the same thing. What's up?" And then that even had me wondering with all these stories, it had me Googling, is there some kind of like a medical condition? Like some kind of strange like glaucoma or some kind of
Mhm.
dilation, something like that. But I
Yeah.
haven't
I'm
found
actually I
anything.
actually found something right now.
Oh, okay, because I didn't find anything. What'd you find?
Yeah. I found that it is referred to this I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that word again. It's sometimes referred to as demon face syndrome. Nobody knows what causes it, but generally the disorder is linked with various brain traumas. So
Oh,
it
yeah,
could be
no.
due to huh?
No, I'm talking about, no, that makes sense. I'm talking about if there's a medical condition for these people to have blacked out eyes.
Well, that could
Well,
be brain trauma too.
do I have blacked out eyes? I don't know. That sounds like a
You know what?
block.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, this is a
Anyway,
creepy face picture. I think this is the one you're going to be putting in here. So they might be warped. Their features are warped, demon-like, scary. But yeah, they're attributing to demon face syndrome to brain damage. But
huh.
maybe it doesn't have anything to do with eyes. But the weird facial expressions could be caused from brain damage.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if the people that these people were seeing that had the blacked out eyes, if maybe they had a medical condition. Like they just had like their eyes dilated and maybe they saw it at a weird angle and it looked like their entire eyes were black, but really it was just their pupil dilated. Or I was trying to, do that logical aspect of what could be causing these completely blacked out eyes. But I don't know, black eyes, I don't know. If you think about it, like they say the eyes are the window to the soul. And usually when people talk about, demons or something was demonic or whatever, they talk about a creature or a person with red eyes. Or, there's always
Hmm.
something with the eyes. And now it's like, there's black-eyed children, now there's just black-eyed people walking around. And even though the black-eyed children thing, it makes me think black-eyed children are something like a separate entity, maybe almost like more vampiric or something. I don't know, because you always
Okay.
see that the black-eyed kids, they can't get in your house, they always have to ask for permission, But then it
Yeah.
makes me think too, like, that's what they say about demonic entities. Like, they have to have permission. You either have to grant them access, like, via Ouija board or whatever,
Right.
like,
Or
get
if
in.
you hear somebody knocking on your door and it's the middle of the night, you don't know if anybody's, what it is, you're supposed to say, hello, who's there, before you open your door. Otherwise, you're inviting them in.
See, I don't do that. Even if it's broad daylight, I ninja crawl, pretend I'm not home. Like, I don't deal with people. So, I think that's like a millennial thing. But anyway, um, so I thought this was interesting and it was gonna lead into what I want you to talk about and what you wanna talk about because, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But so thinking about like, the demonic encounters and whatever, there's, priests and pastors and just, religious, figures. They're talking about what you can do to prevent a demonic attack. And some of these just seem very straightforward, hokey and brainwashy kind of, it's just, I don't know. So,
Cultish?
huh?
It's cultish. It's
Exactly,
cultish.
exactly. So they say, oh, anytime that you watch a horror movie, you're inviting the devil into your home. And, if you have like a rabbit's foot for good luck, if you have anything that's supposed to bring you luck that isn't of the Holy Spirit, that it's
Hmm.
the opposite. And I don't believe in
Right.
that. But then they also talk about like other things, like, of course, they specifically mention paganism, which I thought of you. And yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Witchcraft, all that is labeled as, oh, they're of the devil, it's the devil.
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it made me question the narrative, of course, because I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Like I'd heard somebody say the word entertainment, like the first part of the word is enter, meaning you're inviting something in, which I thought that was kind of
Mhm.
interesting, but at the same time, I don't believe that just because you watch a horror movie, you're inviting in the devil. Or just because
Right.
you get a tarot reading, or because you do some kind of a divination, oracle,
Mhm.
whatever. Like, I don't think that you're inviting the devil in. But that's just me. Like, I'm trying to have an open mind.
Mhm.
And I wanted your take on with this whole, witchcraft and everyone associates. And I don't know if it's because of the movie The Craft, and like how they looked, they were all kind of like gothed out. They were the outcasts and whatever. But because in the movie, what was it,
Manon.
Manon? Okay.
Manon.
So
Mhm.
yeah. And they were what's your take on that? Because I know that's not really a deity. So I wanted you to talk about what a deity is, the myths of witchcraft, the myths of the tie between paganism and the devil, all that.
Okay.
Clear it up.
Yeah, so Manon was in the craft, Manon was a energy force or power in general. So Nancy from the actress Feruza, um, who played Nancy, was trying to summon all the power of Manon. So all the power of the universe, nature, everything powerful you can think of. So what she was trying to do was absorb power. So the name Manon was synonymic for power. Give me your power, give me your strength. Enter me and give me your power. That's what she did with that. So that's what Manon was in that movie. Witchcraft is, they touched on a lot of real life witchcraft in that movie. There was real, things in there. They did practice certain spells and rituals and games like light as a feather, stiff as
I
a
was about
board,
to
like you and
say,
I
we
would
did that.
play.
Yeah.
We did do that. So
Yeah.
light as a feather, stiff as a board. So those are all different manifestations of witchcraft or magic. So the Christian people and, Catholics specifically believed that witchcraft is evil. Their definition of witchcraft is the practice of magic, especially for evil purposes, and the use of spells. This is completely false. Some of us do work with curses and hexes, and we do curse and hex people. But just like everybody else in this world, we have good witches and bad ones. So
Yeah.
there is a difference between good and bad witchcraft. So it's all in your intention and your manifestation. So the real definition of witchcraft is based on an old English word named called Wicca, which means wise woman. So a lot of witches were practicing medicine women. Even in, the Renaissance era, medicine women or witches, people who studied herbs and botany and things like that, were called to the royal court to protect royalty, to heal them from disease and suffering. And it was really, we were really the people you would go to for healing, because their healers or doctors didn't have the knowledge nor the education nor the desire to learn about natural medicines. But witches know natural medicines. They are familiar with them. Some of them study it completely. I'm an herbal witch. I know my herbs, my plants. I can make my own medicine. That's what I do. So I want to talk about briefly some of the myths behind witchcraft, okay? So witchcraft is, let me get to my myth here. So the first myth I'm going to bust right now is the fact that we do not worship the devil. Okay, we don't worship the devil. We have nothing to do with the devil. In all honesty, we don't believe in the devil. There is no devil in witchcraft. There are demons, deities, things like that, but the devil isn't a known concept to us. We don't believe in one almighty God, nor do we believe in the devil. We believe that there's a natural battle going between good and evil. Yes, we do. We see it every day.
Oh yeah.
You know, we see plants dying, we see people killing each other for no reason. I mean, we can literally see, any person with eyeballs can see that there's good and evil in this world, and there's, you know, it's battling, it's fighting for, you know, power. So
Mhm.
yes, we believe in that. But as for devil worshiping, no. Now, going on with devil worshipping, there are some witches who worship Lucifer
I
or
was gonna say.
Satan.
Okay.
What?
I was gonna say. I was gonna ask that. But you
Yeah,
beat me to it.
yes, there are some who worship Lucifer because he is a fallen angel, but they want to, he's about rebellion and things like that, fighting the norm, basically. So some witches will talk with him, or use him in their magic because they want that freedom to be that rebellious spirit. They don't want to be known as one statistic. So that's why they would go and talk with Lucifer or other, you know, demons, because there are demons that I know. I personally know a few. I've gotten influenced by them. Thank gosh I got, you know, out of that. I wasn't always a good witch. I was doing some really bad things when I was younger because I didn't know any better. So, anyway, Lucifer is one of the deities that is considered part of our, you know, some of our witchcraft practitioners use him. Now, so that
Can
is
you hear
definitely
that?
one of our things.
Can you
Huh?
hear that?
Hear what?
It is storming here.
Oh,
Nice and
lovely.
spooky ambiance.
See, how dare we talk about demons and Satan and witchcraft, you know? Okay. So the next one, we only got to 27 minutes, so we don't have too much more time. But just briefly, I'm not going to go through all 8 of these. Witches cast only evil spells. That's a lie. Common myth is witches primarily use their magic to harm others. Now, like I said, some of us do cause curses and hexes. Okay? Some of us get paid to do curses and hexes.
I saw that. There's like
But
there's people who like sell their services on different websites now.
right,
Like
and
I didn't
that's a
see it, I'm
more
looking it up.
common.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more common. But that's not the nature of what I do. But most of the time we focus on positive intentions such as healing magic, protection magic, spiritual growth. So the ethical principle of harm none, according to Wicca, that's what their creed is. They harm none. Do what you will, but harm none. Again, I don't believe in that one either. So I'm not a Wicca. I don't practice Wiccan, because I believe that, you know, karma will do what you need it to do when you need it to, you know, need to do it. But sometimes you have to get karma that extra boost.
Yeah.
So that's why I fall into the category of like the gray witch. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm neither light nor dark.
You're
And
in
then the final
between.
one, what?
Said you're in between.
Yeah, I'm a gray witch.
Okay.
And then the final one, which is really, really stupid, or two more briefly. Witches have green skin and
Yeah.
warts.
Well, that's the Wizard of
I
Oz.
would like to have green skin and warts. I don't think so.
Depends on the ring
However,
like this. No, I'm kidding.
here we go. Wait a second. Hold on, let me get it.
Oh my
Green skin. I'm a
God.
horrible, ugly witch. Yeah, okay. So that is completely busted. I am not a I'm not a green wart witch, okay? So no, we don't all have that.
Right.
That was completely popularized by books and movies like Wizard of Oz. And then the last one I'm just going to briefly talk about is witchcraft is inherently evil. No, we're not. We, as I said, we're medicine women, we're healers, we're teachers, we're herbalists, we are protectors, we are teachers. We want to teach you guys about what we do. This is what we were meant to do. We're on a higher spiritual plane level that we want to bring the world back to a positive type atmosphere, and it takes a lot of us to do that. There's so many witches out there, but a lot of them are still in hiding due to the scary part of the whole, Salem witch trials, where everybody was hung, everybody was accused of witchcraft, things like that. So a lot of us are still in the broom closet, I guess you could say. But we're starting to become more and more popularized now, specifically with social media. You can actually, I have an article about TikTok, and you guys can find, our stuff on TikTok too. So Unscripted is on TikTok, Witch's Treasure Trove is on TikTok. So we are on TikTok. So based on that, TikTok is claiming that one of, online platforms like TikTok or Instagram, which we are also on, so check us out. The hashtag witchcraft has over 7 million posts on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's on TikTok. Oh no, 7 million posts on TikTok and 11 billion views on TikTok. So
Hey,
7
billion?
huh?
Billion?
Yeah. So 7 million posts about witchcraft on Instagram using the hashtag witchcraft. And there are 11 billion views on TikTok, as it's known in the community, Witch Talk, which we are on Witch Talk as well. Unscripted is on there as well.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, like I said, we're all here, and we're ready to help. We're ready to bring ourselves out and teach you guys who we are and what we do. So, these myths have been completely busted. If you guys have any questions, please, please, please reach out to myself or Amy, because she knows a lot about this too.
Not really.
So reach out and ask
the
us.
horror side. I'm the horror side.
You can also
I'm a
send
mystic.
out questions. Yeah. Okay. Well, Mystic is still witchcraft. Sorry. So reach out to us at UnscriptedParanormal .com at gmail.com. I corrected myself. UnscriptedParanormal at gmail.com. If you have any questions about witchcraft, anything we've talked about, devils, demons, which, again, demons do walk among us, kind of like the movie Constantine. So they are here. Some of us can see them, such as the demon face syndrome, which, we're still trying to learn more about. And,
that.
huh?
I'm going to find out about that. But I got a few questions. I got a couple questions before we end here. So, first, where do you think that the negative spotlight came from for witchcraft? Like, is it from the Bible? Is it from movies?
The Bible kind of makes us out to be these evil, entities who are just out to harm, things like that. So there's parts of the Bible that claim that, we're inherently evil, like I said, but there's also parts that portray us as medicine women in the Bible. So using the term witch or witchcraft is what casts us into a negative light. We are actually, we were known as medicine women or healers, for a long time, but in the Bible, I don't remember what book in the Bible it was. I'd have to look it up. But they talk about how witches were inherently evil and they were sending out curses and things like that. And they were working with demons where, they would suckle demons on their third teat, which is a complete lie as well. But that's when all those women were subjected to torture and everything. They were literally stripped naked and tortured till they found witches' marks, a third teat, or a mole. Like, I have a mole right here. And I would have been called a witch back in, 1600s, and I would have been hung. That's just what we do. That's what happened. So we were portrayed in a negative light through the Bible and basically popularized through like the Puritan era, Christianity. When they fully came into power, we were cast out because we didn't conform to their standards about there being one God. So that's when it was first popularized.
So the other two quick questions. When it comes to like hexes or voodoo, like how common is that?
Actually, hexes and curses have become more popularized over the years. Voodoo is very much practiced in New Orleans still. Voodoo, hoodoo, all of that, specifically in New Orleans, they have places in New Orleans that they practice this openly, hexes and curses and,
Is that a form of witchcraft? Voodoo?
huh?
Is witchcraft a form, or is voodoo a
It
form
is,
of okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Witchcraft, there's voodoo, hoodoo, there is, a
A lot.
bunch of, like, Wicca, paganism, neo-paganism. There's so many terms under the big umbrella
Yeah.
witchcraft. So yes, voodoo is very much alive and flourishing in New Orleans. Um, and then out here, again, people are starting to come out of their little closets to, identify themselves as one of us because, we're starting to not be afraid anymore. But it could change, we don't know. But yeah, it is definitely very popular.
Well, then the last question is, in the very beginning of the podcast, you said that you don't believe in the devil, but you believe in demons. Why do you
Mhm.
believe that there's demons, but not one main devil?
Because demons are a manifestation of each individual person. So demons are to me, from what I'm understanding, hi Seiji, hi baby. My understanding is demons are an extension of oneself. So, in the genre of witchcraft or magic or practitioners, some, as I said, will worship like demons or fallen angels such as Lucifer or Satan. And Satanism is another thing. Satanism is a form of witchcraft, but it's not as negative as some people believe. It's more about rebellion. Um, but and again, not conforming to one's standards. But demons are real because again, it's a manifestation of one's true desires. So if I wanted to harm somebody, I could call upon my own power and I could harm someone just by, sending a negative, energy out to them, which can then manifest into demonic entity.
Right.
So yeah, demons are real. The devil is not real, not in our culture. I mean, some people may believe it, some of us might, but I know too many of us that don't believe in it at all. So, as for heaven, again, we don't believe in heaven or hell either. So
Okay.
we have our own type of heaven, which is called like the Summerlands or, some other natural plane. And a lot of us will, believe in like reincarnation, things like that too. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that's another thing we've got on an upcoming pod is that sort of I'm loving the whole reincarnation thing. We've got
Mhm.
stories and all that coming up. But so pretty
Mhm.
much the main theme of this pod is we wanted to, or this episode, we want to just get out, some myths and debunk them. And just if you take anything away from this, it would be just not to trust the main narrative. There's always multiple narratives. Try to have an open mind. You
Mhm.
buys them, it'll only get you in trouble.
Mhm.
So I don't believe in
Closed-mindedness, yeah, closed-mindedness is not going to get anybody anywhere.
yeah, so don't believe in the whole, oh, you've got a lucky rabbit's foot. Oh, that's of the devil. Or
Mhm.
no, it's honestly it's about your intention. Like if it's good to you,
Mhm.
if it's a symbol of positive for you, then
Mhm.
it's a positive thing. I mean, as long as it's
Mhm.
truly
Mhm.
something evil, but you know what I
But
mean.
again, you were saying as like like the demon face and things like that. I mean, always be leery of your circumstance, like your surroundings too, because you guys might see more than you think out there. There is more than you think out there. It may not be one or two different things, but there are things that we don't understand out there and we're
Yeah.
not sure of. Like aliens, do they exist? I believe so. We
Oh,
can't be the only things here.
no.
But again, I'm sure every single one of you out there has had some type of experience where you've seen a demon or an angel or, some type of alien. So keep your eyes open because you guys will start noticing things that you didn't notice before.
I'm saying, yeah. So we'll get into that like again in another episode. But yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, people just because you see, somebody like the guy in the viral video that talks about, this demon face syndrome and like how it when it first kind of started, and this guy said, it was a customer that he saw all the time, and then one day he looked
Mhm.
different. Like he was really genuinely freaking out about this, and
Mhm.
people in the comments are like, "Oh, you saw the devil," and
Mhm.
whatever. Just, I mean, it's all a matter of perspective, but I mean, if you feel something's off, then trust your
More
gut.
than likely it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
trust your gut, trust your instincts because, those are going to lead you down what's
Right.
real to you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. All right. Well, that was an interesting topic. We were
Mhm.
trying to keep it short because we've been going long, and we're going to try to keep it shorter so it's more,
To the
entertaining.
point. Mhm.
But yeah. So
If
that
you
was
guys like what you see, please check out our YouTube video. Every single one of these podcasts are up on our YouTube or going to be up as soon as we finish this one. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, share, give us that thumbs up. We're really looking and hoping to get you guys to start interacting with us and let us know your stories. We want to hear from
yeah,
you again.
so many stories. I mean, we've got a ton of stories that are coming up. I'm sure other
Mhm.
people like us that, they have the same kind of stories.
Mhm.
We love to hear about it. It just kind of helps us feel more like we belong. We're not as we don't feel
Mhm.
like the outcasts. It's like, oh hey,
Right.
I want to normalize some of these paranormal experiences.
Mhm. Some like paranormal experience exactly.
Mhm.
So but we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we have our own Facebook channel now, Amy and Sarah Tucker on Facebook. And then we got our YouTube channel. So, let us know what you guys think in the comments, okay?
And
And until next time,
yep,
I'm
keep it
Sarah.
creepy. Oh, I'm Amy. Yeah, I'm saying it backwards.
Mhm.
Keep it creepy.
Keep it real, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.